all going to have a fantastic time together as we go through this live session today. So once again, welcome everyone. And then if you have any question, if you have any pair you want me to have a look at it, you can put it in the chats and then we'll look at it together. If you can hear me loud and clear, please put it in the chats and let me know. Alright, so we'll just go on with our crackdown, with our top-down analysis of the various pairs that we can have a look at it today. Let's see. Okay. Good. Welcome once again. If you can hear me loud and clear, please put it in the chat so that I know that everything is okay on the other side. Welcome once again. So just as we go through every week, we're here to look at some potential pairs that we can take advantage of as we go along the week, and then also the ones that we probably looked at last week, if we're able to take advantage of it, or the ones that are still pending, because there are some that are still pending that hasn't returned to our target area yet. So if it hasn't returned to the target area, we'll still have to wait and take advantage of it. We still have to wait for the right moment to get into the trade, because we can't be just taking the trade from anywhere anyhow. We have to wait till it gets to the right area, that's our area of interest. So currently I have on my chart here gold, as you can see here. This is the gold chart. So we start from the weekly. So what we want to find out is, hello, welcome on board once again. That's good. It's good to know that you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we have gold here on the weekly. So what we just trying to identify on the weekly, or on the higher time frame, the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour, is to find out which direction the pair is in. If it's an uptrend, because as you can see here, once again, gold is being on this uptrend, right? From here, you can see that it's making, gold is on the sideways movements currently. So if I pull this out on the side, we can see how gold is being on this uptrend, making higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, that sequence. So this is showing to us that it's on the upward trend. So the whole of last week we had this retracement to this area, and then the whole of last week we had this continuation kind of movement here, where so it could be that it will break out away from this point on, but all we have to do is monitor it and see what's happening on the charts. So this is the daily time frame. As I said, we can see that currently gold is in a sideways movement, or is consolidating at this level. It's consolidating at this level here, as we can see here. So with this kind of scenario, we want to see, we have this equal highs here, and then we also have this equal lows here. So it will be a very good thing to wait and see that price kind of if it's going to continue going up, to have a break below here to sweep this liquidity that has already formulated here. So there's all liquidity sitting down here. We have liquidity sitting down here. So ideally, if we could have price sweeping all this liquidity before, whilst tapping into this imbalance demand zone here. So we had a break of structure here. Let me take this out first. So what I was saying is, we had this on the daily time frame. So we have this imbalance demand zone. So this is the demand, this is the last area, or the origin of this move, which broke this structure. So we have a break of structure here. So we have this break of structure here on the daily, and then this is the origin. So it will be, and then we also have this imbalance attached to it. We know that if price, if there's a break or break of structure, for this demand zone to be valid, we should have a valid, an imbalance attached to it, or close to it. So we have this imbalance here. Let me point to it. We have this imbalance area here. We have also imbalance that's partially filled. This imbalance here, that's partially filled but not fully filled. So we have these imbalances here. So this makes it a valid area of interest. A valid area of interest. So, and then we can also identify this liquidity sitting here. So on the higher time frame, you can see that we have this area of interest on the daily time frame, and then we also have these equal highs here. Equal highs. So for price to continue the uptrend, ideally, if we could have a play like this to tap into this area of interest, and before pushing up, if it wants to continue. So this is the daily time frame. We have this higher time frame area of interest here with fair value gap, attached to it, making it a valid area of interest. So if fair value gap is the same as imbalance, if I should put it that way, if I'm confusing you anyway. So the imbalance is the same as the fair value gap. Okay, so on the daily time frame, this is what we have here. Price is currently moving sideways, but within this sideways movement, if we can either sit on our hands, or we wait for some opportunities within the sideways, because we're on the daily time frame. If we drop down to the smaller time frame, we could at least spot some opportunities that we can take advantage of. Currently remove this one. So this is the 4-hour time frame, and we are all in this sideways movement. So as I said, if you the same thing that we look out for, you can identify it in the smaller time frame, because in the it's kind of a fractal. If the things we look out for to um, take our trades, if no matter the time frame that you moved into or gets into, you will still find the same thing playing out over and over again. You'll still find the same things over and over again. Just as I explained that in an upward movement, price makes higher high. So we are here today also learning how to do these things as we go along. So in a situation like this where price is making higher high as it is on gold, it continuously creates areas of interest. So over here we have a push up, an impulse move here where we had a retracement. So this impulse move, we should have an area of interest probably somewhere here, or a demand area, an area of interest. We have a demand area here where price retraces back to clear, tap into it, and then move on. So we have this happening over and over again. So this will probably have an area, an imbalance attached to it as well. Probably have an imbalance attached to it. That's what we said. So as we have this being tapped into, it pushes up again, breaking this structure. So this is just a quick demonstration of how we use this. A quick demonstration of how we trade here. So we have a break of structure here. And once you have this break of structure, we have to then look for the origin. We have to look for the origin. Even though this one came back to tap into this previous origin before making its way up, in the same way it will form another origin here as it breaks this structure here, creating. So once we spot this here, we'll also identify the origin of that impulse move. So this is an impulse move, this is the correction. This is an impulse move, the retracement is the correction. So we look for another area of interest from here on. So if it's an upward trend, all we are looking for is to be buying. All we are looking for is to be buying. If it's an upward trend, we are not interested in the sells. We are mostly interested in the buying. You can do a counter trend trade, but it's risky. It's a high risk trade. It's a high risk trade. It's just like a river flowing in this direction, and then you decide to swim against the flow of the river, which is not going to be easy. So this arrow that I've put here after this is just an illustration to tell us the direction of the flow of the river. And if you decide to go against the trend, it's not going to be that easy. It's always easy to flow with the direction of the trend, like that. Just glide through as the power is on this side, is moving to the right. You glide through it with it. Okay, so let's continue what we're looking at. As I said, we do this and then we also learn alongside with what we are trying to identify on these pairs. So we have these areas that we consider these areas. So as I said, for the area to be a valid area, you should also be able to identify some form of imbalance attached to the area. So once you identify this, once this has been tapped into, that is done, you look for the next one. So here you had a break of structure here. This is the origin area. You wait for your entry around this area to the upside. We had another break of structure here, another break of structure here. So once you spot the break of structure, you then go back to locate the origin of the move. That's the last candle before the impulse move. So this, as I said, is the correction. This is the impulse move. The impulse move is the one that broke the structure. We have correction, retracements. So as price retraces to the origin or close to the origin area, that's where we look to get our entries. I believe this is clear enough. So let's continue. So over here on gold, we have this untapped zone. This zone hasn't been tapped yet. And then so this is a pending area, and this also a pending area as we identified it on the higher time frame. So we can say that currently price is in a consolidation zone or consolidation mode. So in this situation, you either sit on your hands, look for another pair, or you can play it in the lower time frames. So let's see what we can find on the lower time frames. Yes, we got to eat. Yeah, we got to eat. So we always have to find where the opportunities are. As I said, the same thing, no matter the time frame that you are looking at, you can always find it on any time frame. So we have it here. So we have here the 2-hour time frame. So I think yeah, this is what we put on the chart last week. That's where we were last week when we were doing the session. So we put on the chart that this is the likely move that we expect on gold. So lo and behold, gold came to this zone. So we see that price came to tap into this area and then pushed up to this supply zone, pull back a little bit. So we'll only watch and see what price is doing, and then we follow suit. So over here we want to do this with understanding. So as price moved to this area, we should be able to understand why it tapped into this area before moving out. So if we look to the left, we had all this area of liquidity that price cleared up until here. That was from last week Friday, not this very, on the 27th of June. This is where price was. We did our session on Sunday, and then when the market opened, price dropped to this low. And then if we look left, structure always leaves a clue. So if we look left, we can see that there is this area here. If we extend it to the right, you can see there's this area here that price created before this push up, before this up push. So over here we can see that price started, there was an origin here that started from here. This is a 2-hour time frame. So if we go on the lower time frame, we will identify that there was a break here. We'll be able to identify that there was a break here on the lower time frame, break of structure. So as I said, this is a 2-hour time frame, so it might just look like a pin bar or a wick, but if we go down on the lower time frame, we'll see that price actually closed above this high, causing a break of structure. So as I said, so this break here, this is the origin. We had the first tap in and then it pushed away, and then price came back to revisit that area again before this push away. So this happened for the whole week of last week, and then we had this pullback. So whatever happens on the charts, there's always a reason. That's the reason you have to find out why price would do that. So before this happens, we always have to look left, identify possible areas of interest that we will target our trade from. So that is why I put this parts tool here, that we are expecting price to tap into this area, push up, and then have a retracement. So that is what we kind of have in here. So price pushed up to this high, then pulled back to this area. So from this point on, price could tap into this area of supply and then push down, but we are not here to tell price what it should do. We only trade in what we see. So if price pushes up to this area, it pushes up to this zone, this supply zone here, and it gives us an indication of coming down, all we do is to take advantage of it. Even though we know that gold has been on this uptrend for some time now, but if it gives us an indication of it's selling from here, it's in the zone. So once it's in the zone, if it gives us a sell setup here, all we do is we risk it, we take advantage of it, and then we move, because we cannot enjoy or benefit from it if we stay out of the trade. If we see a setup, we cannot benefit out of it if we don't take advantage of it. So let's move further down. So as I said, if you have any pair that you want me to look at it, do well to put it in the chat, and then we'll look at it together. All right. So this is the 1 hour time frame. So from the 1 hour downwards, it's more or less, from 2 hours downwards, you're looking, that's your entry time frame. So 4 hour, daily, weekly, looking for the direction. So perhaps if you are doing your analysis, your top-down analysis, and then on the weekly, it tells you price is going up. On the daily, it tells you price is going up. That's, you have 2 out of the 2 times frame that you have looked at. And then if you look at the 4 hour time frame and the price is telling you it's going up, you better look for setups that is going up as well, because you don't want to swim against the current trend, against the current of the river flow. So if the river is flowing right, you flow with it. If it's flowing left, you flow with it, regardless of what your own thinking or perception is. Okay, so yeah, we'll look at BTC shortly. So let's finish with this one, and then we'll go on to BTC as well. So there's the 1 hour time frame. So the same as I said, this is a pending area that we're waiting patiently. Another pending area here that we're also waiting. So if price gets to these areas, all we have to do, just as I said last week, that if you have different zones of interest that you want to take advantage, or different zone of interest that is pending, and you're not sure, what you have to do is to use the confirmation entry. Use the confirmation entry in a situation where you are you have a high probability that that's where price is heading towards, or finishing its move from. Then you can use probably aggressive entry, where you put in a buy limit or a sell limit if it's going down. So if you have a high probability that the high chance of price turning around from that area, just like we had here, if you are 100% sure of the move to the upside, or not 100%, we can't be certain in trading anyway, and that's why we go on through all this to get the high probability one. So if everything is pointing to you that you have a high probability option there, then you can put in a buy limits. So in that case, you put in a buy limit over here, just like we had over here. You put in a buy limit here, your stop goes below the area of interest, and then you target the next previous high. So if you enter here, your next previous high is here. So, and then just as it looks here, if we put in a buy limit here, you would have had a nice profits on this particular move here. Okay, so currently, as we say, gold is in the consolidation area. So we either sit on our hands, or we look for another pair and then take advantage of it. So as it is now, we'll wait to see what happens from here. We'll wait to see what happens. If it gets here and then gives us a better setup, we could look for a sell from this zone to maybe here, if it really want to sell. Other than that, if we get a break above this area, this current area of consolidation, we wait for the retest. So all we do is we identify the highs. So this, as we can see, this whole area is we concentrate on the current area. Let me take this out so that it will be clear. We'll focus on these current areas. So if we want to day trade this, we kind of have to focus on the current areas that we are in. So you can see that over here we have this liquidity resting here. We also have liquidity resting here. So this imbalance up onto this move here, I think is partially filled. So there's a high chance that price will come back to finish this job that is started, this move that is started. So this is an imbalance supply area. So we have this imbalance attached to this area of supply. So we could at least expect a movement to this zone coming this week to complete this move, because this move that broke this structure here. So this is the retest, and the retest we are expecting price to fully fill the imbalance and tap into this area of supply. So from this point on, from where price is, we could at least not this one, we could at least expect something like this, So we could at least expect something like this to the upside. So we have this not fully tapped in. This wasn't fully filled, so we could expect another move that will get here. So from this point on, what we have to do, we can see that there's this break of structure here. So the origin is this one here. The origin is that one here, and we can see that there was imbalance attached to it as well. So all this here, we have this imbalance area which has partially been filled, not fully filled, partially filled imbalance. So price tapped into the halfway of this imbalance that was left here. So this part is filled, tapped into this area, and then began to turn around to the upside. So this could continue to finish this job here. This could continue to finish this job here, and then from there on, this is another area, another high zone that we could, that's also pending, another area to have price visit there. But currently this is what the job that has not been completed. From here, this move, it hasn't fully been completed, so we expect price either to tap back in here, this area, to get some momentum, then push up to this area, or from this point on straight to tap into this area. So we could watch out for this as the market opens. Okay, so that is what currently we have on BTC. So we have all these pending areas on the higher time frame that we identified. That it's possible to happen, but currently on the 15 minutes, this is what I see. So we see how it plays out on the market opens tonight, and then as the week goes by, Okay, let's move. If you have any question, you can pop it in the chats. Other than that, we move to BTC USD. Oh dear. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to set and forget. Not tampering with your trade. Yeah, I was. The reason why I'm saying that is I kind of missed this move up here because I was in a buy trade. Yesterday I was in a buy from this area. Let's see. Okay. This is the 15-minute time frame. So let's start from the weekly, then we'll come back to see what is happening on the 15 minutes, and then I'll tell you my story of why I was laughing. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame. You can see BTC also is been on this bullish move to the upside. If we start from here, it's been on this bullish moves to the upside. Okay, so this is what BTC also has been doing. We can see it's been making higher highs, higher lows, higher lows. That is a characteristic of an upward move or upward trend. So that is what we can see on the weekly. So currently, this is the whole of last week. We had this bullish engulfing candle. Okay, so over here, this candle, okay, it looks like a bullish engulfing, but it didn't fully close above this candle, so it didn't close above the wick, the high of that the previous week. But again, it's more of a engulfing, so you can see what happens. So this is an uptrend on the weekly. So on the weekly, we say bullish. On the daily time frame, we can also identify that it's in a sideways move currently. It's on the sideways move currently. So over here. So I think last week we put these markings down. So this more or less a pending area that we are anticipating, or we are waiting for this to happen. So on the daily, we mark this. I think on the lower time frame, we mark this area or this zone that as price has been holding here at this area, creating equal highs and then equal lows. We were anticipating that we get a tap into this area. So if we had a tap into this area, our aim is to take it to this area, to this zone, the supply zone here. So that hasn't happened, it's still pending. So once price give us this low, we'll probably look out for a confirmation entry and then get into it. So we also have this higher time frame pending area here that's marked. So we can also identify that there's all this area here, all this liquidity area here, resting this area, this equal low area, liquidity, money resting here, stop orders, buy orders all resting here. So these are areas that act as a magnet, and then we also have this imbalance area attached to this demand zone that hasn't been tapped in yet. So these are all areas that is pending. This area is pending. So we are anticipating that as it is in this supply zone, it's tapping into this supply zone. The next thing that we expect price to do is from there push to clear all this liquidity resting here, then tap into this area and then fill this imbalance, tap into this area before, if it wants to continue going up, go up to clear this liquidity as well. Once we spot this, we know that price will kind of pull back to retest. So if it gives us the retest, that is where we are interested in. That's where we'll be interested in. So currently, this is what we kind of waiting on for BTC to do. But again, this is on the daily time frame. But we can also find some opportunities on the smaller time frames as we move ahead. But we should have this in the back of our minds. We should have this higher time frame scenario in the back of our minds as we play the smaller time frame opportunities, not to be caught unaware. Okay, so as we can see, Bitcoin is currently on the sideways movement, creating equal highs and equal lows. So that's on the daily, but we know that it's been on an uptrend. So we've identified these pending areas where we are waiting for price to tap into those areas or to revisit those areas, then we can take advantage of the move that comes up. Okay, so this is the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, let's try to use part 2 to identify the current move on the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, from here onwards, from here, you can see that price move up here, breaking this structure, push down here again, breaking this structure to this high, make push down here again, and then currently this is where BTC is at on the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame. So we can, if I lift this part to on the side, let me push up. So this on the 4-hour time frame. So if I lift the part 2 aside, we can see a higher high created here, higher low, higher high, higher low. So currently this is where price is. It hasn't closed above this area yet, so it's within this area. So we can definitely say it's in line with the higher time frame analysis that we identify, or scenario that we identify, the weekly and the daily. So these are also confirming the weekly, daily, and then now we have the 4-hour time frame. So this all confirming the upward move. Confirming the upward move. Okay, we go down to 1 hour. Let's go to 1 hour time frame and see what we can identify there. So currently on the 1 hour time frame, we can see that we had this beautiful move up here, which if we look left, all this move that happened here, if we look left, we can identify why it stopped here. So if we look left, we had the break of structure. We mark this break of structure here. We mark this break of structure here. So the origin of this break, we can say it's from here, from this point on. So that's the origin of this break of structure here. That's the origin. And then we have a small tiny imbalance attached to it. So this now becomes the demand area. This is the demand area. And then we also have some small imbalance. So we have to read your chart, your structure properly to identify all this. So we have this imbalance attached to it here. That's where I've put this arrow. So that makes this zone, imbalance demand zone, a valid area to consider. So it's this origin that broke this structure. So we had price coming back to tap into here. Price coming back to tap into here. And then after that, see the beauty of the move straight into profits or targets. So if we had taken, if you took this trade from this point on, if you took this trade from here, your entry here, stop loss there, your profit target will definitely be here, or this zone. So this will be a nice trade. That's 1:3.4, 1:5.32 risk reward. That would have been a very nice entry. So what we're doing here is for you to identify these areas before time. So all you'll be doing is to be waiting for price to come to your zone before you react. You are not just taking trades from anywhere, anyhow. We have identified that this is in an uptrend, so what you'll be looking out for is to buy the markets. So this, you identify it before it even comes here. So if we should measure this from this point on, okay, not this one, delete. If we use this to measure how long it took to get here, yeah, so from this where it started, it took 7 days, 7 hours for price to come back to this origin. So all you have to do is to mark these zones, and then it's pending areas that you want to take trade from. So if you look at all these shenanigan moves, as someone would say, all these up and down move, not giving you any clear direction. So this is where you sit on your hands. You're not taking trades from here. So it's all over here that we had a more or less a clear picture of its movements. But before then, we can see how it's cleared all this liquidity above here. So once you spot a liquidity sweep, you are good to take advantage of it. So you can see that it was creating all these liquidity areas here, and then price came to clear it one time, came back, and then finally cleared everything before moving down to our target zone. So now if you were able to take advantage of this, fine, but if not, you wait to flow with the current direction of the river flow. So the river flow is upward, so all you do is to tap and wait for it from here, and wait from here. Okay, so this is on the 1 hour, and so let's go on the 15 minutes. So I spotted this we had a break of structure here. I guess you can see the chart well. Let me enlarge it a little bit. Yeah, we had this break of structure. I'm referring to this one here. We had this break of structure right there. So this break of structure here, now what I have to do is to look for the origin. So the origin, I would say from this area here. So I'll just include the wick of this candle. Okay, so attached to this origin, we also have some imbalances there. So the imbalance attached to this origin, making it a valid area. So we had a first tap in. Let's use this. We had a first tap in to this area with the imbalance. Let me mark this way. This is the imbalance that we can identify here, attached to this demand area. We had the first tap in from here. The first tap in, where are you? Okay, I think okay, we good to go now. So we had the first tap in from this point on to, come on, where is my thing not drawing? Can you still hear me loud and clear? Because it looks like my system is kind of frozen a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Let's try again. Okay. It drew finally. Finally, it gave me the drawing that I want to draw. Okay, so we had the first tap in, playing another tap in to this zone again, another tap in, come on. So we had another tap in to this zone. So from this point on, I could see that the price is more or less consolidating. So the entry I took was on from here. Okay, can you hear me loud and clear? Because it looks like my system got frozen. So I realized that price is creating this equal highs here and then equal lows here, creating some form of consolidation after this move. And also, before then, I've already identified this zone. identify this area. Let me change to 1 hour or 30 minutes. Let's see if it will be. I think I need to clear my chart a little bit. Oh, okay, good. It's good you can hear me. Well, looks like my system gets unresponsive at some point. Alright, okay. So on the 30-minute time frame, this break of structure here, the origin I put down. So this is the break of structure, the origin right from here. Right from there. And I also spotted this imbalances, or what you can also call the open price range, where you can see the wicks did not touch each other. So we have this open price range here that I identified. Open price range here, or the imbalance over here. So I took a trade from here. After this break of structure, I tapped into a trade from here. Let's see where we are. Let's see. So I took a trade from here. From here onwards, stop loss below here. My target was this area. That was yesterday. So the whole of yesterday, price was just moving sideways. So I kind of didn't like the way it was playing out. So as I realized that there is creating equal lows here, equal highs here. So I now said there's a high chance price will come back to sweep this liquidity resting here. There's a high chance price will come back to sweep this liquidity resting here. Let me take this out to make the clear chart. Yeah, so there's a high chance price will come back to sweep the liquidity resting below here, as it's making equal lows and then equal highs. So as I identified this, I kind of just opt out of the trade. I closed my trade here with some small profits, that because my entry was here. I wasn't ready to be kicked out on a liquidity. I wasn't ready to become the liquidity. So if you don't spot the liquidity, you become the liquidity, and I wasn't ready to become the liquidity in this particular trade. So I just closed it and then took the profits that it gave me up until here. So again, on the platform that I traded, the spread is too crazy, so widespread that I wasn't interested to re-enter. Again, just waiting for the market to be opened and then see if the liquidity will be much better. Yeah, the spread was crazy, so I wasn't interested. So when it got here, I just took out the profit that they had given me and then opted out of the trade. But you can see here that lo and behold, it was all this liquidity resting here. So price came back, swept the liquidity. Even though if I had remained in the trade, I would have still gotten to my 4 TP here, which I couldn't spot this. I only came to find price doing this at this level here, which I didn't see until this move had completed. So this is an area I identified on the 30 minutes or 15-minute time frame, and then I was trying to take advantage of this move here, knowing that there's a job to be cleared or to be finished, completed here. That's why I was waiting to enjoy this move. So this would have given me a nice 1:4.5. That would have been lovely. But again, I missed it. I closed my trade early, missed the whole move because of this high spread on the platform that I'm using, and identifying this, giving me equal lows and equal highs. I knew that it's going to be a sweep of liquidity. If it's want to go up to complete this, it's going to be a sweep of liquidity, which it actually did somehow here. It did. But again, if I had remained in it, I would have been okay because my stop loss was resting below here. And then this. Nevertheless, we look for the next opportunity. So now, currently, we have this one is gone. This one is mitigated, it's gone. So we had this break of structure here. This is what we have currently. So we look at the recent one. We have this break of structure here. Break of structure here. So what we have to do is to identify the origin of this break. The origin of this break. So I will pick it from here. The origin of this break could be from, ideally we could see that there was a retracement here. So this move actually started from this area, or better still, we can just extend it to this low to incorporate this whole area. So this whole area becomes our area of interest, and then we can also identify that there is some imbalance attached to this area we are referring to. This area we are referring to, this small imbalance here that hasn't been tapped in yet. There's also some imbalances here where price is currently filling it or filled it up. Alright, so currently this is what we have here, and this will be our zone of interest. This is the zone of interest. The zone of interest. Here, this is imbalance. So the imbalance area that I'm identifying is this small candle here. So sometimes it's very tiny, but your job is to identify it and make use of it. Other than that, you might miss the opportunity. So we have price currently coming to tap into this high here. So we have a break here. We have a break here as well. Break here. Or we could pick it up from, yeah, we have a break of structure, change of character, because we've been on an up move. Price turn around, tap into this zone the first time, second time. That's why I always say it's always ideal to tap your trade from the second leg of the move. Second leg of the move. So this is the first impulse move, tapped into the zone, pushed down again, then revisited, then failed to beat the previous record. So if you want to take advantage of things like this, you tap into it from the second leg. So this is the second leg of the move. So we've already identified there's a break of structure here, so we are kind of anticipating that price will push down from this point to come back to tap into this area before, if it wants to continue to the upside, it goes to the upside. Also bearing in mind of our higher time frame pending areas that we have. On the higher time frame, I think we have some pending areas that we identified. Yeah, so this area here on the higher time frame. So as we said, we've marked these zones, pending zones. So we are not forcing price to get there. What we are doing is we trade what we see, and then we plan our trade according to what we are seeing. So currently on the 15 minutes, this is what I see. This is what I see happening. So there's a break here, so please we'll want to see a retest. So from this retest we can move back to this area. We can move back to this to complete the job here. So this is what I see on BTC USD. BTC USD. BTC USD. Any other pair, if you want me to have a look at any other pair, then that we are an hour into our session. We are an hour into our session. So once again, I really appreciate your time here with me. Thank you so much for being with me today, and I hope what we went through you found value. And then also, if you're here or if you're watching this, you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click the subscription button or the subscribe button, and also the notification button, so that anytime I post a new content, you'll be notified and get and take advantage of it. Alright, so without much ado, I will say thank you for being with me on this session, and once again we'll meet again next week. Thank you. God bless you all. See you again next time. Bye.